We're back. As you guys may know, I moved. So much shit has happened in terms of not moving on the anticipated dates, me not requesting enough time off, being misdiagnosed, working at the same time, trying to learn what I have to do, like in terms of this adjustment with moving, like transferring utilities. So much fucking shit. This probably sounds like a whole bucket of excuses, but I'm really just trying to update you guys in terms of like why I haven't released anything or posted anything. I've missed podcasting so freaking much. It's so different when you're listening to a whole bunch of podcasts, but actually like creating and recording is one of my most favorite things ever. So please bear with me, and thank you to everyone who is still here, who's still supporting me. This is obviously not the new Best Kandi Ever studio. This is the new kitchen. All of that is still in the works. I mean, I've been trying to unpack for like almost a month now, and the office/studio still isn't where I want it to be. Some boxes still aren't unpacked, and it's just been this giant juggling act. It's just been so hard to balance. But anyways, we're back. I'm back. Huge shout out to my girl Mikaela, aka Cherrysmashfit, for being super understanding and patient with me in terms of this episode being released almost a month later. She is going to talk about so many awesome things, one of them being one of the most important things in life, which is health. Please like this video, subscribe, rate and review on Apple Podcasts, and enjoy. Love you guys.
Because, in quarantine, everyone really was hard on themselves. Either people, they got out of shape, or they're like, I'm just less active, or I didn't eat so well, or, I've been drinking a lot. So everyone kind of had their problem in quarantine. Okay. Either people got really like fit, or they were like, well, like I lost everything. I lost myself. I didn't go to the gym because everything was closed. So, yeah, it happens.
Can you tell us a little bit about what made you want to become a fitness coach and like your journey through all of that?
Yeah, so pretty much, I have a really good friend who's an online health coach, and she's been doing it forever. And she kind of suggested it to me back in September of 2019. She's like, you should just try it. I think you'd be really good at it. Because I've always been into health and fitness, but I was like, I don't know if that's, the right path for me. And then I hired her as a coach because, in quarantine, everyone really was hard on themselves. Either people, they got out of shape, or they're like, I'm just less active, or I didn't eat so well, or, I've been drinking a lot. So everyone kind of had their problem in quarantine. Okay. Either people got really like fit, or they were like, well, like I lost everything. I lost myself. I didn't go to the gym because everything was closed. So yeah, it happened. It was kind of opposite for me in a way. At first, I was like, okay, when they were like, all right, we have a 2-week lockdown. I was like, 2 weeks without the gym. I can do this. I'm going to do at-home workouts. So for a while, I did the at-home workouts. And then like 2-3 months went by, and I was like, I can't do this every day. Like doing crunches in my room just sucks. And even the hikes and stuff were closed. So I kind of like let that go. So what was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I said, oh, wow. I didn't know like the hiking trails were closed.
Yeah, for us, California was super strict for everything. So it's like sometimes we'd see people like working out in parks and stuff, but it was just bad. So for a while I was doing that, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I lost a lot of like muscle, and my body like completely changed shape, and I was like not happy with it.
No, the gain.
So, yeah, no, not the gains. And I was like, there's nothing I could do. And luckily I like didn't gain weight over quarantine, but like my body just was a different shape, and I like wasn't fit anymore. And I was like, this kind of sucks. So then I think it was December. So the gyms like were completely closed here for months, and especially in LA. And so they opened for 2 weeks in July and then closed back down. And so, all of a sudden, like one of my friends was like, hey, there's this gym that's open, and it was like the only gym open. So we joined that gym, and I was like getting back on my game, and I was like, I'm not seeing results. I don't know what's going on. So I hired my friend who was a health coach, and because I was like, I know what I'm doing, but clearly there's something, missing. And so, after that, I got really inspired, and I was like, wow, like she changed my life so much by, just doing a few things, that I want to be able to do that for other people. And I've always wanted to do something which, that helps other people. But before the quarantine, I was in the music industry, and,
Really?
I mean, Yeah, I was doing marketing for a venue in Hollywood, but I'm sure you know, like the farther you get into the scene, the more you know about the scene. And the EDM is so important to me and music is so important to me that I was like, if I went any farther in the scene, I think it would have flipped and I would have just only thought of it as work and I would have lost the love for the scene. So I'm kind of happy that I decided to like switch it up because now I'm a lot happier when I go to shows and I'm not worried about like, oh, this person is my coworker, so I have to like act this way. And, I could just be there for the music. So it's nice. But yeah, so after that, I was like, all right, I think this is the step I need to take. So one of my other coaching friends, he's actually, he moved from doing online health coaching to business coaching. So he does business coaching and he helps other coaches. So I invested in his program and it has helped so much. He has a whole, like, it's just a great program. So I was like, this is definitely the route for me. So I had Ali Alvarez as a client and her results were amazing. We like posted them everywhere.
She looks phenomenal. I saw the progress photos.
Yeah, she's doing amazing. And I saw her in person a few weeks ago and she looks great. But after that, I was like, okay, this is definitely the path that I want to go on and changing people, their lives, even in the smallest way, because the way you feel about yourself is so important. And it's not just how you look. It's like, how do I feel on the inside and the outside? So I just knew that was the right path for me. And so I've been loving it. And like I said, a lot of people were like, oh, in quarantine, I gained weight or I lost a job or me and my boyfriend broke up and a lot of big life changes that affected people's health. So yeah, that was kind of I'd started my business over quarantine and it's been going well. So I'm excited. Quarantine was tough, but I'm glad that I ended up starting my business then.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are you still working or are you doing this full time or are you still like working part-time, like in the music industry, or did you completely like let go of that?
So I thought about it for a while too, even like in the middle of quarantine before I even thought about starting my business. And I was like, what do I want to do when this is over? Like when quarantine's over, do I want to continue being in the music industry? And I love it so much. And it was like one of those things. And I have a lot of friends in the music industry that are like way deeper than I was. And they were like, if you want to like preserve your love for the music and not hear about all the like shitty things that go on or like the drama or whatever, he's like, I suggest, you pick something else. And it wasn't like a tough love kind of thing. I was just like, okay, that makes a lot of sense because dealing with everything behind the scenes, I was like, I don't want to. EDM is like the one thing that I've always had a love for. And I was like, I don't want to ruin that for myself. So I considered it for a while, but no, yeah, now I'm going full time with my business, which is great. It's definitely terrifying, but yeah, it's exciting too. And it's just, I never thought that I would like own my own business or anything. And it's definitely an accountability thing. It definitely like puts my ass in gear and I'm like, okay, I'm the only person that can be like, you need to stop doing this and you need to start working or creating content or, things like that. So yeah, it's full time now, but I'm excited.
You did marketing, right? Did you go to school for that?
So I originally went to school when I went to college originally, I went for criminal justice and I did it for like 6 months and I was like, not for me. And then I switched over to marketing, but then I dropped out. I'm originally from Connecticut. I dropped out and moved to California by myself when I was 19. And I was like, I'm going to go live the California dream. And so I was kind of lost here for a while and I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I went back to school for marketing actually right before the pandemic started. And then I did online school throughout the pandemic. And then I realized that this is what I wanted to do. And then I dropped out again. So I did go to school for marketing for a little bit, but then I only got my like associates in it because I realized that's not, what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely almost like a leap of faith, like going from something that you've invested so much time in, like for example, school, and then completely switching it up and going to like your own business. Like that's why I really look up to people that like entrepreneurs or people that start their own business or anything like that, because it's such a like a sacrifice and you don't really know what's going to happen. It's like a big risk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely scary. And there's like weeks, and there's so many factors in it too. Like, did you start your podcast over quarantine?
I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It'll be a year in September, but it was last July that I was already like scheming and like planning out how I wanted to do everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I'm sure like, cause it's, it's kind of your own business too. You're running things. There's like no boss to be like this, you're gonna have to do a show this day. So it's kind of hard running into something like imposter syndrome when you're like, am I qualified for this? Am I good enough? Like, things like that are always running through your mind. You're like, is anybody going to like this? And you're right. It's tough to like be your own boss kind of thing. But there's good weeks and there's bad weeks, like I'll be so busy and I won't even have time to like see friends that week. And I'll have 10 client calls and this and this. And then the next week I'll have nothing and I'll be like, wow, what did I do wrong? But it's just a roller coaster.
No, I feel like that's the grind and you got to respect the hustle. I feel like that's all a part of it for sure, is like having like those slow weeks. And I think that's what's really scary about it too, is that you don't know what the future is going to look like. Like it's the stability, I think, is what freaks a lot of people out. But I think that you're doing great. Like I've been seeing all those client photos that you've been posting and I was like, oh my God, like she's doing it. Like she's doing the fucking thing. So
thank you.
It's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about how this works? Because obviously you can't be with somebody at the gym who, if they're like living in, for example, Vegas, like me, live so far from each other. How does your program work?
So I actually do have a lot of clients from Vegas, which is funny. Most of my clients are either like SoCal or Vegas based, which it's nice to be like in the same time zone because I have a few clients on the East Coast. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so basically how online health coaching works is we take a few factors. For example, so we do nutrition and personal training pretty much. So as far as nutrition goes, we track macros, which are things like carbs, fat, and protein. And so I do custom macros based on your needs. So just say, you're like, I want to gain muscle and lose a little bit of fat, but I want to get toned and, that's your goal. So I'll say, okay, well, we'll say, where are you starting right now? Like how many calories are you eating? What's going on? And so I'll just, for example, I'm like, all right, we're going to start you off at 190 grams of carbs, 100 grams of protein and 50 grams of fat. So we use something called MyFitnessPal to track everything. So
I used to be addicted to that damn thing for years.
It's so helpful, but it's also like, you don't want to have to track forever. So pretty much that's what my program is. It's not like a diet. It's not like, okay, you're like things like keto, you lose the weight and then you can gain it back really quickly the second you go off keto. Or, if you're like, I'm going to go raw vegan for 2 weeks and then you're like, okay, I'm going to stop. So basically I work on body recomposition, which is getting the body to, it's getting your metabolism to work as fast as humanly possible while burning as many calories as humanly possible. So you're trying to make sure that you can eat as a sustainable amount and burn the calories, because a lot of girls, like we feel like, oh, we should be eating 12 to 1300 calories a day, which is so wrong. It's so wrong. And all this stuff that they told us when we were younger, it frustrates me because now it's ingrained in so many of our brains. And when I tell girls like, how many calories are you eating? And they're like 1200. And I'm like, all right, well, over the next few months, we're going to work from 1200 to 2000. And they're like, whoa. And I'm like, I promise you will look even better and you're going to feel better. And, it's not even just it's about, how you feel. And it's also things like getting rid of bloating and getting your metabolism faster and getting, better digestion, because a lot of people have digestion issues. And that comes from not having the proper nutrition. So we take like customized macros and we track all of our food. And then we do customized workouts as well on this app called Trainerize. And basically, so I do a 4-day workout split. So I do like a leg day, a booty and hamstrings day, a push and a pull, pull being back and biceps and push being shoulders and triceps. And so there's three rest days in a week because you definitely need at least 2 rest days a week to, fully rebuild muscle and kind of give your body a rest. And so we track workouts through there. So I'll do a custom workout program based on the person's needs. So just say, on a leg day, I'll have you do 4 sets of 10 squats. In the app, I could see all what you do when, like when you write it down. So just say like, okay, I did 4 sets of 10 squats at 50 pounds. So we could see that and then just say, next week you go and you look at it and you're like, oh, I did 50 pounds last week. Let me try for 60 this week. So we do a combination of a custom nutrition plan and a custom workout plan. And then we combine those two and we do weekly check-ins. So our weekly check-ins, we do progress photos and weigh-ins. And I kind of ask, 10 to 12 questions like, how much water were you drinking a day? Did you hit your macros? How much sleep are you getting? Were you stressed? Everything that could possibly, be affected by like what you're doing with your body. And then we take that and I'm like, okay, you hit your macros all this week. Your back is looking leaner. You're looking less bloated. Let's add 10 ounces of water a day and, 5 grams of carbs per day. Or, all right, you want to enter a fat loss phase. Let's, get you eating as much as possible and then cutting it down and adding some cardio. So things like that. So it's all based on the person's needs. I do personal training as well, but it's not, I have a lot more online clients. I have a few in-person clients that I do personal training, but they also do like the nutrition and stuff as well.
Okay. In terms of measuring progress and results, do you even have your clients weigh themselves or measure themselves?
So, not, I don't have them measure themselves, but I do have them weigh themselves weekly just because the scale doesn't matter at all, because a pound of muscle and a pound of fat looks so different. Like you're like, oh, I'm the same weight as last week, but you lost 2 pounds of fat and you gained 2 pounds of muscle, and that makes the biggest difference. So we do weigh-ins just to make sure that everything is running okay in, on your inside. So, just say you either like gained 10 pounds, you lost 10 pounds. That's something that we need to look at and be like, all right, what happened? Is there something going on inside? Do we need to go to like the doctor? Because that's a dramatic weight change. And things like periods affect it too. If you're bloated, if you're, things like that. So we do weigh-ins, but it doesn't really matter as much as like the progress photos. The progress photos are the first thing I look at during the check-ins. We do like one from the front, one from the side, and one from the back. And it's so easy to see, all the muscle definition. And within the first week or two, usually people's, their bloating goes down a bunch and their back and shoulders start leaning out. Because as women, we tend to lose weight in our upper body first, and then our stomach, and then our legs. So that's why a lot of women like have, slim thick, because we tend to lose weight last in our legs. So yeah, we definitely focus more on the progress photos, but yeah, weigh-ins are just something to make sure that we're like doing okay on the inside.
Okay. In terms of, let's say you have a client that is new to working out, hasn't really done any workouts themselves at the gym, never really picked up any weights. How do you go about helping them if they don't know proper form, or if they don't know what weights to use, or how long they should be working out, or if they should even be doing cardio?
So I'm pretty much available for my clients like 24/7. I tell them like I go to bed around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I wake up by 8. So I'm pretty much available majority of the day. So if someone's having a problem with form, so on the Trainerize app that we use, there are every workout that I upload for my clients, there's a video tutorial and there's also a written out tutorial. So it'll say, keep your feet at a 45-degree angle, have your hands, 2 inches apart on the bar, things like that. But if they're still like, I feel awkward when I'm doing this, what am I doing wrong? I'll have them either take a video or FaceTime me during their workout session. And I'll either be like, okay, you're doing great. It might just feel weird or you're doing great. Or I'll send a video back and be like, just move your hands a little bit farther apart, put your legs a little bit closer, whatever adjustments need to be made. So that's how I do workouts like that. Or, if a client is like, hey, I am nervous at the gym, sometimes I'll just give them a little bit of a pep talk, especially if it's a new gym and you don't know where anything is. It can be intimidating. Because I do have a lot of clients who either have never worked out or haven't worked out in years. And as far as nutrition goes, if someone's like, hey, I have, 30 grams of protein to eat left for the day and 40 grams of carbs, what do I eat? I'll say, all right, maybe, cook 2 ounces of rice and 3 ounces of chicken with, like 4 ounces of broccoli, and then have a bag of popcorn for dessert, something like that. So kind of just suggestions with food as well. I do that like for weekly check-ins too. If one of the questions is like, how are you doing with nutrition? If they're falling behind a little or they're unsure of what to eat, I'll do some recipe suggestions or give them some product suggestions. Because for someone who has like never tracked macros, it's hard to be like, how do I get 90 grams of protein? What am I doing? So.
Yeah. For those clients, like, how do you even explain like macros and all that? Is that part of the course too? Or do you kind of give them homework and are like, hey, do your research on this and touch base with me?
So I'm very open to questions. Like anytime a client has a question, I am there to answer it. I actually just made a post on macros yesterday because macros are something that I know very well, but I like tend to not be like, oh, everybody doesn't know this. You know how sometimes when you know something, like you're like, I know this, and you just assume that everyone else knows it too. And you're like,
yeah, actually, can you tell us what macros are? Because now I think about it, some people listening probably like, what's a macro?
Yeah. So macros stand for macronutrients, which is basically like a type of food or what's in your food. So for example, the macros on 4 ounces of chicken are like 1 gram of fat, 2 grams of carbs, and like 30 grams of protein. So just say I assign you 200 grams of carbs, 100 grams of protein, and 50 grams of fat. Everything like in my fitness pal will calculate it for you. So just say you have like a banana, you can type in banana on my fitness pal and it'll say 30 grams of carbs, no protein, no fat. And it'll go into kind of like your daily bank of macros. So just say you're like, okay, I'm at 30 for the day. And then you have a protein bar and you're like, okay, that has 5 grams of fat, 15 grams of protein, and 17 grams of carbs. So that all kind of loads in there. So macros are basically what you need to track to kind of get where you need to go. So if your goal is muscle gain and fat loss, you're going to want to, and a lot of people don't, they're not sure where to start with macros. So that's where I come in, where I'm like, all right, this is your type of body. This is what your goal is. These are what you need to be eating. So when it comes to macros, it's just basically calculating your carb, fat, and protein levels and having a balance between them to really get your body to where you want it to be, because 80 to 90% of working out and getting fit and everything is like the kitchen. 10 to 20% is everything in the gym. You could be working so hard. I actually have a post for that like later today, but you could be the hardest working person in the gym. And if you're not, and it's not just about not eating healthy. Like I have a few clients that are like, I'm eating healthy. I don't know why. And I'm like, it's because you're not hitting your macros. Because you could eat salad all day, but that, that doesn't mean, and carbs aren't bad for you either. Like we're adults. We need carbs. The carbs are fuel. And especially if you're working out like that, it's important to get enough. So like I said, a lot of girls, especially like I, had oatmeal for breakfast and salad for lunch and this for dinner. It's like you may be eating healthy, but you're not getting what you need to fully get the results that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for a lot of people too, like to break it down further, macros are generally like your 3 categories, right? So it's like your protein, your carbohydrate, and then your fat. So for clients that, for example, want to bulk or they want to tone, how do you customize their programs? Because they're 2 totally different like things and two different body types, 2 different goals. How do you make it fit their wants and needs?
So basically, pretty much all of my clients start out with body recomposition. So I'm not going to get a client and just enter them into a fat loss phase, because that would be counterproductive. So basically, body recomposition is when we're trying to train our metabolism to be as fast as possible, eating as much as possible. So it definitely depends where a client starts to, because I've had a client be like, oh, I eat 2,000 calories right now. And I've had another client be like, oh, I eat 1,100. So I take kind of what they're eating and start them around that area, but just adjust their macros. So, you could be eating 1,000 calories, but you also could be eating like way too many carbs or way too much fat, or you could be eating 2,000 calories and not getting enough protein. So things like that. So basically we just want to level everything out. So just say, I have a client who is starting off, she already eats 1,200 calories. I would probably do something like, okay, let's start you off at 1,300 calories with 85 grams of protein, 180 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat. So after a few weeks of hitting those goals, I'll say, okay, as long as you hit them almost every day, we're within 5 to 10 grams of each macro. Then I'll be like, all right, the next step is we're going to add 10 grams of carbs a day and, 10 more ounces of water than you're already drinking. So things like that are all in the factors in our check-ins. And then, once someone's like ready for a fat loss phase, or if they're like, it's been 3 to 4 months in the program, like, thank you. Cause we don't want to track food forever. That's very annoying. It's, so, and you also don't want to like have to be on the same workout regimen forever. So I do change up the workouts, every like 4 to 6 weeks, based on like their experience. So I kind of start at a beginner level and go to intermediate or wherever they're starting. So that's the whole thing, is that a lot of people don't know when to change up the macros. If they, once they're there, they're like, all right, what do I do next? So once someone is hitting all those macros, we'll start adding more and more until we get to a comfortable place and their metabolism is working as well as it should on like 2,000 calories. Then after that, we'll be at 2,000 calories for a while, and then we'll jump into a fat loss phase if that's their goal. I have a lot of clients who are like, I am too skinny. I want to build muscle. I want to be toned. I don't have a shape. And so we work, customized for that. Or I have clients who are like, I want to get fit, lose a little bit of belly fat, get an ass, like things like that. So I work depending on their goal and kind of like where they start.
Okay. So just to clarify, like for somebody that is trying to lose weight, quote unquote, you would still have them eat a lot during that recomposition phase. Is that correct?
Yeah. So when I first hired my coach, I was like, I want to like get back into my like fitness body. And I also want to like lose a little bit of weight. I started eating at 1,300 calories and now I'm eating 2,100 and I weigh less. I look way better. My whole body shape has changed. And I didn't believe it until I saw it. And I was like, wow. And I look at my, my progress photos from 6 months ago and I'm like, that's not even the same person. So, it's all a science and you kind of have to trust the process. That's like my slogan with, I guess my brand is to trust the process, because the way that your body works scientifically, and there's very rare cases to where you would do anything else in this case. Like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I want to lose fat. Like, why am I doing the same as someone who wants to lose weight or that wants to gain muscle? So because a lot of the times if someone's, eating 2,000 calories and they're like, I want to lose weight, I'll say, okay, let's start you at 2,000 calories, but we're going to change around the carbs, fat, and protein. So you're probably not getting enough protein and you're probably getting too much fat. And, we're going to keep the carbs at a certain level. So entering that body recomp phase not only, helps you to lose weight and gain muscle, but it also gets rid of bloating, which is a big problem, which is why a lot of people, they're like, oh, I have this water weight. And it helps your digestion as well, which helps you to lose weight and, just be healthier overall.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. I really like that you clarified that, because I've gone through so many different diets and have had a coach and even a doctor, because technically, like on the damn BMI chart, like I'm overweight, which I think that BMI chart should be totally disregarded. It's so outdated. But the first thing that they always say is cut down your calories. You need a calorie deficit. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't take into consideration, like you said, are the macros, and that it does make a difference in terms of what you eat if you eat a slice of bread versus a potato. So I think that those things matter, but it's just nice to hear that it's like you don't have to eat less to lose weight. I mean, yes, calorie deficits, of course, I think they do make a difference, because it is math, but I think it matters the nutrients that you put in, because your body's not going to metabolize everything the same.
Yeah, exactly. And that's good that you also like are aware of that. Cause that BMI chart needs to go. Like and also the scale just doesn't matter. Like I am, you could look at yourself at the same weight, but you could look so different, or, even from person to person, you could be same weight, same height, and you can look completely different. So when it comes to stuff like that, like it doesn't make much sense. And I see things on like my For You page on TikTok from nutritionists, and they're like, oh, you're trying to lose weight, you have to be in a caloric deficit. So pretty much for people who don't know exactly what that is, your body burns 1,200 calories a day approximately just sitting there. Like if you were to wake up and stay in bed all day and not move, just you breathing burns about 1,200 calories. So that's why when we're younger, they're like, oh, girls should eat 1,200 calories, because that automatically puts us in a deficit from like the moment we wake up. But obviously when you're moving throughout the day, like, I don't know if you have an Apple Watch, but even just me, like walking around, breathing, like that's an extra 600-700 calories a day without a workout. So being in a caloric deficit is obviously you're going to lose weight, but is it going to be in the right way? And, are you going to lose weight in the wrong places? And, you can't target fat loss, but when you're training like that, you shouldn't be, no adult should be eating anywhere close to 1,200 calories. And being in that kind of deficit, and it also affects your moods. Mood is a huge thing too. I remember when I was like in high school eating less than 1,200 calories and I was miserable, and, your mood is affected greatly. And, with all that whole BMI chart, it's got to go. But yeah, as far as deficits goes, you just have, and like you said, you can be eating the wrong things too. Like you can eat McDonald's and be in 1,200 calories, but it's like what you're putting into your body. So
it's like one burger.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, okay, I ate this today, but you're like, am I going to lose weight and look better? No, just because maybe the scale's a little bit lower because you didn't eat that much. You still ate shittier. And on the inside, now your stomach is messed up and you're bloated and you're like, all right, I don't feel great.
Right. Do you have any clients, and I'm asking because I used to do this, I'm very guilty, that use MyFitnessPal and they overindulge, they overeat because, we're human. And basically, do you have those clients that will do that and then go to the gym and do cardio for an hour? So that way they're back on track and they're not in the red, they're not negative.
So I actually had a client recently. She was like, I kind of fell off the wagon and I wasn't tracking last week and I only did 2 out of 4 workouts. And we all have those weeks, like things happen. Retrograde was just happening. We're all like not in the mood. And it happens often, but I honestly get majority of my clients, I would say like 99% of the time, aren't eating enough. They're not reaching their macro goals because we're trying to get you to eat as much as possible with still, looking and feeling better. So most of the time, honestly, my clients don't hit their macro goals. I'll be like, okay, eat 200 grams of carbs a day and they'll be at like 140. And I'm like, you should have ate an extra bowl of pasta, or you should have had 2 bags of popcorn, or, eaten stuff, like had a smoothie because fruit has a lot of carbs. So I actually have in me myself too. I've actually in 6 months, I was with my friend's program when she was coaching me. I think I maybe overate like 3 times in 6 months because
oh my gosh.
the whole idea with body recomposition is to eat as much as possible. And that's the whole science behind, why we do the macro split that we have. So I would say most of my clients, I have to like pressure them to eat more. And that's the thing too, is like, I don't know how to eat more. And it's all about like planning it out too. Sometimes I'll plan out all of my meals for the next day, the day in advance. I'll add everything into my Fitness Pal, like either the day before or in the morning. So I can see, okay, this was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what do I have left to hit? So if I like have 30 grams of carbs to eat left and like 10 grams of protein, I'm like, all right, let me have a protein bar or, things like that. So most of the time I don't have clients that overeat. And just say like I had a client who had a wedding. I told him that, use that as like an untracked day. So once we start hitting those macros and really like, hitting them pretty closely for about a week or so, I'll add in like an untracked meal. So I'll say, okay, use this as like if you're going out to dinner with friends or whatever, don't even worry about it. Just, I want you to hit these macros before you go out. And after that, like that meal is yours. And then
does that equate to cheat day? Is that what that means?
Kind of, yeah, pretty much. And it's funny though, because a lot of clients, like I had the same person that I'm talking about, he was like, I have no, like on my untracked meal, he's like, I had no intention of like eating shitty. And I was like, I'm the same way now that my body's so used to eating one way on my untracked meal. It's more of, I pick more of something that would be difficult to track versus like unhealthy. So if it's something with like a lot of moving parts and sauces and this rice and whatever, that's what I use as my untracked meal, not necessarily something that's like super unhealthy. Or if they have an event or like something, like a wedding, I'll be like, okay, use that as an untracked day. Just make sure that you're hitting your macros the rest of the days and just make sure you're drinking like 100 ounces of water that day. So yeah, that's why I also like to ask in the check-ins, like, do you have any events coming up? A lot of my clients are going to day trips. So I was like, don't worry about tracking that day. If you're drinking, just stay hydrated. And I want you to get like 50 grams of protein before you leave. And that's the thing, like every weekend, I like to make a post on Friday or Saturday being like, make sure you're getting like 70 to 80 grams of protein before you leave the house for, whatever event, and drink about 100 ounces of water a day, like that day, because, it's a pain to track everything you eat every day. So definitely using one day or like one meal as like a cheat or like an untracked definitely helps people to stay on track, because for the most part, like I said, my clients are, they'll undereat and I'll be like, all right, you have to eat more pasta. And they're like, how is this real? I'm like, it's science. Don't ask me.
Yeah, I definitely had that challenge when I tried doing the macros a long time ago, and it was very, very difficult for me, especially to hit the protein. And I would do like the protein shakes, and it was just a hot mess. I always thought, or I kind of feel that eating healthy and clean, I think that's the word, clean, it gets a little bit more costly to eat clean compared to eating processed foods, because fresh vegetables, meat, things like that tend to cost a lot more compared to like a frozen lean cuisine, for example. How do you approach those clients that have, I guess, that they don't have as much money to spend on like fresh, clean ingredients, or they can't always cook for themselves because of like income or whatever? How do you like cater it to them so that way they can still do your program? So
pretty much I do kind of like a math breakdown. So there's a lot of clients that also, it's time and money. Like it's a lot of clients don't have the time or don't have the money. And so like, let's say we're talking about like a lean cuisine meal. It's like chicken and rice. Okay. Let's say it's like $5. And that's like let's say that's like, they give you 2 ounces of chicken in there and like 0.2 ounces of rice. That costs you about $5. If you go to the store and you buy 4 whole chicken breasts, which is like something like 30 ounces, it's $8. And then there's this protein rice that I really like. It's by this brand called Bonza, but it's $4 for the whole thing and it's 4 servings. And so altogether, the chicken and the rice is $12 and you get like 6 servings out of that. So that's like $2 per serving versus the $5 that you'd spend on lean cuisine. And then if you wanted to add like broccoli or zucchini or whatever, it's like an extra $1. So things like that, it's really about price breakdown. I usually like to take Sundays, and I know a lot of people have different schedules. So whatever my last day of like rest is before the week starts up again, that's the day I'll meal prep. So I'll cook like all my meat that day. So I'll cook like chicken and salmon, and then I'll cook like either rice or pasta. So I have it for the week, because of that way it saves me money right then and there. And then it saves me time for the rest of the week. So that's kind of my suggestion to, eating a little bit healthier, because if you really look at like the cost of fruits and vegetables, fruits can get a little bit expensive sometimes, but like one zucchini is like 50 cents, or, the like big thing of tomatoes is like $3. So it definitely comes to like price breakdown. And then, when I kind of make that point and they're like, oh, well, I don't have the time. I'm like, just find, an hour to somewhere throughout the week and meal prep, because that's the best thing that you could do. And things like meat and rice and stuff like that, it stays good for a few days,
Right. That's true. I feel like that was definitely the most difficult part. It was either before, it used to be money, and then it became time. And when I was living with my family still, that was the hardest. That was the absolute hardest, because, my mom would cook and she would be like, why aren't you eating? Or my dad. And I feel like that was always a really big challenge. And with that type of obstacle, like, what do you tell your clients that are just like, I'm just so busy, like I work all the time, or I have kids, or I just don't have time? Like, do you just tell them, hey, it's not going to work if you don't put in the effort? Or how do you like deal with those types of clients?
So I actually do have a few clients that have kids, and I pretty much tell them like on a client call, because yes, I obviously want clients and I want them to be happy with the progress, but I tell them straight up, if, this is going to take some time. And if you don't have the time, if you don't think that I pretty much say, if you can dedicate, 4 days a week and 1 hour a day in the gym, because I do about 6 to 8 workouts per like gym session. So it should take about an hour each time. And if you can't dedicate an hour for 4 days a week, so it's 4 hours a week, plus maybe an extra 2 hours for the whole week of cooking, then maybe the program isn't for you, and it depends on how badly they want those goals. And I have had a few clients that kind of start the program and they're like, I didn't realize it was going to be this much, this much work. And I just try to help them out with time management. I'm like, all right, give me your schedule. Let me see where you're working, what you're doing. And I try to help them like, okay, you can go to the gym at this time, and maybe, you're off on Sundays, take Sunday to relax.
So thorough.
Yeah, I want, and I want to make people happy, and I want them to have the change that they want, because this is, like I said, it's not going to be forever. I'm not going to, I don't want you to track forever. This is not the kind of program where I'm going to try to like entice you to get more months if I don't think you need it. But once they have the education that they need, and then can kind of do eating intuitively for the rest of their lives, or maybe, they need help a year from now or something like that. But yeah, I definitely make it clear that you need about 4 hours a week to work out. And, and it takes a little bit of time to like track your meals. If you're like, okay, I got to type in chicken and rice, and, you can like scan the barcode too, which is nice, but it's just a little bit of extra time out of your day. But I definitely make it a clear point that like, if you think that you don't have time to cook, because it's easy to go to the gym for an hour a day and be like, this is my allocated gym time, but you're like, I don't have time to cook. Pre-cooking everything is the best thing. And then, other than that, yeah, I just definitely make it clear that it's going to take a little bit of time, but I have clients who have kids, they go to school and they work. So it is possible,
Yeah, I think that if you're really determined enough, anything is possible, but it definitely helps to have a coach like you around. And I'm sure that you get clients that are just like freaking out, or they can't do it, or don't believe in themselves. Like, do you do you take that into account with the course? Like if they're freaking out or if they, because I'm only asking because I know I was like this, where I would just like kind of sulk and complain to my best friend that I wasn't getting, I wasn't going to be ready for EDC on time, that I ordered the bottoms too smaller than my current size and I shouldn't have done it. And basically like all these insecurities. Like, do you have clients that will just like vent to you? Like, do you allow that, or do you like tell them to journal or do anything therapeutic? Because I feel like a lot of it is so mental, and I feel like that can affect the progress too.
Yeah, the mental part of it is also a really big thing, because when you're not like feeling good about yourself, everything else kind of follows. It's kind of a domino effect. So I do have a few clients that, definitely kind of got down on themselves, and they were like, I'm not seeing progress, or I want to see progress faster, or, I skipped the gym every day this week, or I didn't track at all this week. And when it comes to something like that, I definitely send, a very encouraging message. And then I also offer like a call, like if you want to hop on FaceTime, or if you want to, hop on a call, I would love to talk to you. And I kind of just remind them that at the end of the day, they made this choice and for a reason. Like they didn't just make this choice to give up on it. And like you said before, there is a lot of factors that kind of give people that doubt. Like, do I have enough time for this? Is this what I wanted to do? Am I good enough for this? And, I had a client the other day text me. She's like, I'm at the gym, but I'm so nervous and I don't know where anything is. And I was like, honestly, your first week, your second week is your hardest, because you're like trying to figure out when to eat the right things and like how to balance them out. And then you're at the gym and you're like, okay, I need this machine, but this person's on it. So now I have to go here, but I'm not sure where I'm going. So, if someone's feeling down on themselves, and other things have factors to that too, family stuff happens, and personal stuff and job stuff. And so when that happens, and it's okay to take a break sometimes, but you definitely shouldn't use it as an excuse for too long. Like if you're like, hey, this happened, I'm going to take a week off, or I need this day, that's always an option. But I definitely want to make sure that it's like a valid reason, because sometimes it's out of laziness, and that's never good. But yeah, after having some clients kind of feel bad about themselves or be like, I kind of fell off the wagon this week, I like to schedule a call and just kind of talk about exactly what happened with them and see what we can do differently.
That's awesome. I really like that. I feel like that will make you different compared to like other courses or online trainings, because I feel like that's the thing that people really look forward to. Because I did take a course with Emma Capotis. And what I really liked was that she did these Zoom calls to kind of like check in and did one-on-ones. And I feel like that's what really that's what made me feel like, oh, this was right, or, oh, this is what I'm doing wrong. And you can really assess goals that way.
Yeah, I do like to hop on Zoom calls too, because even though I have the check-ins weekly, and most of my clients do, we do one weekly check-in, and most of them are on Mondays or whatever day that, they decide. It's like sometimes, even though they answer the questions, like, were you stressed about anything? Did you get enough sleep? I like to have a back and forth conversation, and I also send voice messages back. Like when I give them their check-in back and kind of discuss what we need to change this week or what we're doing this week, it's more personal than texting. So I always send a voice message, and I like to offer also like a Zoom call or, just a phone call, because it's nice to have a back and forth conversation. Because with texting, you never know what someone's doing. You're like, do you have the time for this right now? So it's nice to really hear somebody out and kind of hear their tone of voice and be like, all right, what exactly are you struggling with?
Yeah, 100%. So for people that are interested in taking your course, can you tell us about how much like approximately would cost, or like the length of time it would be for those that are interested?
Yeah. So typically, as far as time goes, I have a few packages. So I do a month-to-month package. Just say someone wants to start it out for 4 weeks. They're not sure, if they're going to have time for this or if they're going to like the program. So I offer a month-to-month. And then I also offer a 3 or more month package. So, just say you're like, which saves a little bit of money. So right now, it's $200 per month for month-to-month. And then if you wanted to do like 3 months at a time, it's $400. So that's a little bit of a discount. So it's almost like you're getting a free month if you do 3 or more. So yeah, as far as that goes, and I can do payment plans, things like that. So, yeah.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Holy shit. Since you're obviously like a health icon now, I would say, or a health, I don't want to say influencer, or health coach. Let's put it that way. Health coach, fitness coach, whatever. Where do you see your business going or yourself? Like, are you planning on doing any like shows, like those competitions, like those fitness competitions, or are you just planning on like expanding? What's the goal?
So the goal here is to only go up from here. I have a lot of friends that do those competitions and I love like watching them compete. I don't think I could ever compete. Not to say that I would never, but I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. But I have so many friends that are also health coaches and they were kind of my inspiration. And I was actually just texting one of my friends earlier today. And she's got like a lot of my friends kind of made a business out of the business. So once you kind of move on from health coaching, after a few years, a lot of my friends become business coaches. So now they don't even do health coaching. They coach health coaches. And from there, a lot of them have like, you know, then they start doing activewear brands or have their own gym or, you know, it can get crazy. And the fitness industry is only ever growing and people invested a lot of money during quarantine. And that's when I realized like, no matter what happens in this world, people will spend their last dollars to look good, whether that means getting your eyelashes done or going to the gym. There was a private gym here that was $100 before quarantine. And then they were the only gym open and they decided to charge like $350. So, but people were paying it. So it's like, you know, that kind of made me realize people will always be, and they will always want something from the health and fitness community. And online health coaching is only growing bigger and bigger. Before the internet, there was just personal training. And now there's so many apps and so many different ways of communication, and quarantine really showed us that too. So I'm just hoping to, you know, grow my community even bigger. And, you know, some of my good friends who are coaches, they have like client retreats and all that stuff. So it's, you know, it can get bigger and bigger. So that's just kind of, I look up to them definitely.
Oh, that is awesome. Well, I think you're going to get there. I think that you're doing a great thing, and it's different too. Like within the rave scene, I think it's really different. We don't have a lot of, I mean, we might, but I feel like you're definitely one of the ones that come to mind when I think rave and fitness.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a good thing that combines the two of my favorite things. I actually have a friend so I do have male clients as well, but I focus more on female clients. And I have this one friend in my like business course, and his Instagram is like the Fit Raver. And so he does like themed workouts for like ravers, and it's really cool. And all of his like, instead of like beginner, intermediate, it'll be like shuffler, headbanger. So he has like a theme, which is super cool. But there's a whole fitness rave community inside of the fitness community and inside of the rave community. So I just went to Arizona and I have a lot of like fitness friends out there. And they're all ravers. So it's definitely a community within a community, because I feel like you kind of have to have stamina to go to a rave for 3 days. Like you have to be somewhat, and I go to a gym here in the Valley and it's basically a rave gym and we have DJs there all the time. Yeah. I just did a video on it, but yeah, they have DJs there all the time. Like every Wednesday they have DJ nights and they're always playing EDM in there. And the lights are like very like club like, and there's definitely a huge community for raving and fitness.
Hell yeah. That's so awesome. And before we go, because I know we're kind of like reaching an hour, I do have this awesome segment that I kind of just started. It's called 5 Seconds of Explore. Basically, this is where guests and I kind of show each other our Explore page, but we guess what's on the Explore page. If that's okay with you, you don't have to.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Can I guess first? I want to guess what's on yours.
Yes, I just screenshotted it and I'm like, okay.
Okay, I want to say people working out, supplements, maybe some rave fashion, and don't hate me, but I want to say like maybe fitwear or fit tees, or maybe not. Maybe you don't like doing the tees, but fit stuff, fit food, fit maybe recipes, and I just want to say rave fashion, because when I think of you, I think of fashion, fitness, and raving.
Okay. That was good. Those are good guesses. I feel like I have some sides of me that like only a few people know, which also might show up on my Explore page. So do you want me to show you what I have on there now, or do you want me to guess yours?
No, show me what's on yours.
Okay. So you were right for the most part. So I'll send you the screenshot too.
Okay.
I have Ariana Grande because I'm literally obsessed with her.
You are?
Yes. That's like one guilty pleasure that not many people know about. You know how like at the end of the year, Spotify does like what your year was in Spotify.
What you listen to like the most?
Yeah. I was in the 0.05 top listeners for her, and she's a pop artist. And I was like,
damn.
I went through a breakup. Like that explains.
Oh
so
my
I have her on my explore page. I have like goth fashion because I'm very much into goth fashion. Because all I wear I'm wearing white right now, but if I'm not wearing rave clothes, I'm wearing like black, like darker clothes. I had a feeling
like your corpse bride little thing in the back and like your Baroque mirrors. I was like, okay, I see you.
Yes. I'm very like, I have like this like little pillow. I'm very much into like all the goth stuff. And then you're right. I have a lot of like recipes and like random. So I have like this like recipe for like a Starbucks drink. And then I have like rave fashion on here. And it's mostly like random recipes, and there's like fitness. So yeah, you pretty much got it right. It's pretty much just food and fitness and like goth stuff.
Yeah, I always feel kind of weird because I'm like, wait, well, I'm just making all these like assumptions about them. But it's fun because like the Ariana Grande, I would have never guessed, like ever.
Yeah, I like rarely post anything that has to do with her, but when I do, like, I love her. She's definitely my favorite pop artist. I don't really listen to much pop music, but she's up there.
Yeah, well, she can sing.
Yeah, I feel like regardless of if you like her music or not, she's very talented and you got to give it to her. But
yeah, they were saying that she was like the new Mariah because like she can reach like these crazy high notes and has a very similar singing style to Mariah Carey.
Yeah, her range is insane. But I do like this segment. This is very original. I like it. I've never heard it like done before.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my third one. So I feel like it's a great way for people to like kind of get to know you and see like a different side.
I like that. I'm excited to guess yours because I feel like there's something going to be that I'm like on that I don't know. And I'm excited.
Oh, by the way, this is like our first time talking, everybody. So
yeah, true.
We like know each other, but we don't.
We've maybe run into each other like once at a festival like 100 years ago, but
did we? No, we didn't. Did we?
I feel like, did you ever do a shoot with Rolita? I feel like we met at a Rolita shoot really quick. No, am I
wrong? Which one? Do you remember?
I feel like it was. Did you do a shoot with her for Nocturnal 2018?
No, I've never. No, I've never been.
I'm like, I feel like I've met you in person before, but it feels like so long ago. Raving.
I know, and then we see each other so much on like social media. It feels like I kind of know you, to be honest.
Yeah, I know, like watching your videos and stuff, especially with TikTok being so personal and like you could see people's facial expressions and not just like in pictures.
Yeah, it definitely makes it feel like more intimate for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So here are my guesses. You're really good at makeup and you're always posting really like amazing looks. So I think that makeup is on there. I think bass music stuff, like events happening in Vegas. I think there's going to be like some bass stuff. Definitely festival fashion and like glitter and things like that. And then you're a nurse, right? Are you a nurse?
Yeah.
I feel like possible nurse stuff, like maybe nurse memes. I don't know. And then, I don't know.
I know it's like, let me
possible astrology stuff. I'm not sure.
Astrology stuff. Okay.
Yes, that's my guess.
All right. So here, let me pull it up. Okay. And I'm going to put this up on the screen too. I don't know if you can really see, but it's a whole bunch of travel reels, of course.
Oh, okay.
And I have a pug. It's actually my parents' pug. Yeah. So it's a whole bunch of pug memes, and I can't really see it because of the glare, but it's a lot of pugs, lots of travel reels. And it's funny that you say nurse memes, because every once in a while I'll get like 4 or 5 nurse memes in here, because I do follow a whole bunch of nursing pages, but the majority of it is really pugs. And for a while, it used to be mermaids. like, real life mermaids with the tails. Like I used to be obsessed, and I still am. And it does come on here every once in a while. But in terms of the glitter, no, I feel like that should be on here, but glitter is not on here. And then of course, like I'll get like one random rave girl over here.
I feel like because we follow so many ravers that it doesn't ever pop up on my explore page. I have like one because it's like, well, you already follow everybody. So
yeah. And I don't know. I feel like the algorithm is just so crazy because it can like detect like how long you spend on a post, and it'll like show you that or show you that person. And it's just wild to me, like the technology. But yeah, you definitely got some of it right. For sure.
I forget that you also like to travel a lot. I like watching your stories, like when you are other places. They're so much fun to watch.
Thanks, girl. Yeah, I'm just obsessed. And I feel like over the pandemic, that was like the only thing you could really do wherever it was allowed. So like I went to Florida a couple of times, but yeah, I feel like that's something that people don't know, like the pugs and the travel, or they might know the travel. I don't know.
That's awesome. Where are you planning on going next?
Honestly, it's not till November, but my boyfriend and a couple of friends and I were all going to Joshua Tree, and then we're going to see Rufus in November because they're going to be in LA.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I heard about that show. The shows that got announced for the fall, I'm like already having anxiety over. I'm like, there's a million things to do this fall. A million.
Are you going to go see like a whole bunch of people besides festivals?
I have no idea. LA was kind of like neither here or there for shows this summer. And Academy and Exchange, our two biggest EDM clubs, just opened back up. But we didn't know when they were going to open until like a month ago. So I think everyone kind of pre-planned shows for the fall. So there's like shows every weekend, every day. And there's so many venues here, but there's also like EDC and then EDC Vegas and everything. So I think it's going to be overwhelming, but it'll be a good time.
Yes. Fuck yes. And Mikaela, can you share one of the best candies ever that you've received or made?
Yes. So I have this candy, and I wish I knew her at name. So someone came up to me and was like, "Oh, you're Cherrysmash." Like, I think this was Escape this past like 2019. And I was like, "Oh, hey." And like, when you get recognized, sometimes you're like, who am I? Like, yes. I'm not an artist. You're like, I'm a nobody. But she made this for me, and she was like, I was hoping I would run into you. Like, didn't message me at all. And she ran into me, and she gave me this candy, and she like made a perler out of it. And it was the cutest thing ever. And I like almost cried. I was like, thank you so much. And candy is just something that I feel like I hope it comes back even more after quarantine, like sharing, because it's such an amazing thing. And I feel like there's so many reasons why candy is amazing, but having a little part of each festival, like I have a candy from someone who lives in Hawaii, and he made a bunch of aloha candies and put like little flowers on them. And it's like, now I have a part of somebody else from another part of the world. So I'm hoping that candy makes an even bigger comeback, because I do miss it and I do love it.
I think it's back. Honestly, I think that it's back, and it's going to mean so much more, especially after being away from each other. But for those that are just listening, can you kind of describe the candy that you got?
So this candy was given to me by someone, I think at Escape 2019. And she came up to me and she was like, I was hoping that I would run into you. I made this for you. And she like didn't DM me or anything to like meet up. And I was like, what are the odds that we would like meet up here? But it was just the sweetest thing ever. And I was so appreciative. And a lot of people are always like, why do you have that name? And it's just something random I thought of 5 years ago. And I like cherry, like everything. So anything cherry, I love it. Like I have a tattoo here. Like I love everything. So this meant a lot to me. And I keep all my candy in a box, but I keep this one like hanging visually, because it just, especially like over quarantine, it just made me realize like we will be back and things like this will happen. And, we'll all be able to be with each other eventually.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Basically, this candy that she has, it's like this really cute perler. It's like of two cherries, yeah? Like your iconic cherries.
It's so cute. And it's like, I was like, this is, and I wish I could make perlers. I just have never. I like make candy and that's it. But it's so cute. And I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, and it's the littlest things. Honestly, if like even candy that's like not that doesn't have like a perler or doesn't even say anything, I feel like that just means so much if someone's just gifting that to you, someone that doesn't know you.
Yeah, or if someone like or, sometimes you go to shows and you make like one very special candy. And like, I don't know if you do this too, but sometimes I'll make one like very special one that I am kind of saving for someone that I meet that's like, you feel like is going to be influential in your life. You're like, you are such an amazing person and you just have to give it to them. And unfortunately, I feel like SoCal raves are it's a little bit more rare to see people trade candy.
What?
But I have really big, I don't know. I have a really big rave family in Texas, and it's huge over there. Like all my friends over there, we'll have like candy making parties. And maybe I'm just like, maybe my friends here don't do it as much. And maybe that's why I don't realize it. But yeah, out in Texas, there's so many people trading candy. And I'm very excited for EDC because I hope that everyone makes so much candy.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that there's a couple of like candy kid groups that do meetups and stuff at EDC. So I think it's going to be a candy explosion, to be honest. I think it's here to stay.
I'm excited. I hope so. It's such a like cute thing that, and I know like a few artists, they don't allow candy at their shows, like Cascade. Like I love him, but I don't know why he doesn't allow candy at his shows.
I think Destructo was doing that too. I remember Hard Summer. I think it was like Hard Summer 2015. That was like a rule, like no candy was allowed. And I was like, why? I mean, I still was able to get in with my candy, but their reasoning was because it's not a rave.
Yeah. And they think that anything like this has something, I think they explained it like, oh, it's promoting drug use or something. And I'm like, it's a bracelet. What do you mean there's 4-year-olds wearing these things like out on the street? Like what? So I know that Cascade is having a show in August and it's like not allowed there, but yeah, hopefully that. And I know after Insomniac bought Hard, Pasquale was like, you can wear whatever you want. So yeah. I'm definitely, I agree. I think it's back. I've been seeing it a lot more. And so hopefully it's back.
Yes. Mikaela, drop where everyone can find you.
So I have a TikTok. I have 2 of them. I have like an astrology TikTok that I like occasionally post videos, and that's Cherrysmash. And then I have Cherrysmashfit on TikTok and Cherrysmashfit on Instagram as well.
Sweet. Well, I'll link all of that in the description box, the show notes, so that way people can find you too.
Thank you so much.